Hey!
Hi, how you doing?
Good. I love your background. You're so fun. Okay, please introduce us to yourself.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Knotty Key, um, and it is Knotty Rell if you are talking to me, pretty much. Yeah, I'm very, I want respect. Let's put it that way, you know.
Do you
Um,
prefer Naughty or Naughty Rel? Because I like calling you Naughty. I think it's kind of fun.
yeah, I prefer Knotty, and once people get to know me, then that's when the Rell comes in. It's a relationship I try to build with everyone, small clients and followers, and yeah. But I am a kink educator, kink connoisseur, kink renaissance. I do anything and everything I can. I am an adult content creator. I own my own kink and BDSM store. I am about to launch a podcast soon. I am part of a polyamorous organization that I am a founder of. And yeah, yeah, I mean, I'm a crafty, I feel like people ask me, like, oh, what else, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then something will come up and they'll be like, why didn't you say that you played music most of your life? And I'm like, ah, forget.
What?
Yeah, I play like a lot of instruments, and I forget that I do that because then I work with wood and I work with leather, and for 17, 18 years I was a professional chef. So like I apprenticed for piercing. Like I've been around the world. Yeah,
And you just recently ish went full time to your business.
yeah. So before the pandemic, I was a full-time chef. Had been cooking since I was 15 in kitchens. And it's still my passion. I still love it. But I have a different view on the industry, primarily being a black chef. It's definitely different. And I had always been, well, not always, it's a hard statement. I've been in the kink and BDSM world for a while, prior and during, and I had already been doing professional dom work, and so yeah, it was more cooking is my soul, kink completes me, and BDSM completes me. Uh, and at the end of the day, like it's to be legit, my end goal with food was something near orgasm. It doesn't necessarily have to be an orgasm, but if you eat something that I make, I want you to have such a unique experience that you're not going to forget who I am or who put that in front of you. So, uh, yeah, and pandemic hit, and I was already making stuff for people, and predominantly for myself, and uh, I had just landed the best job I had ever got in the kitchen, 5 days a week, tech days, tech hours, weekends off, holidays off, fucking great. And then pandemic hit. And I was like, oh shit. Well, I can't do cooking. I can't do um, my adult content, um, or doing um, scenes with people and
Mhm.
booking sessions. And I was like, well, let me relax and be artistic and just start making stuff. It was literally just to kill the time. And um, I also knew that it was something that I was focused in and passionate about because there's stuff that I use, um, compared to something that I was just making that I never used. These are things that I'm uh, So yeah, it was an easy transition, and it wasn't odd, to be honest. It was kind of natural, and I think everyone in my close circle knew. They have known. I'm very open about my life, um, and they weren't surprised, and if anything, just supportive, and uh, people know my drive, and know that if I want something, I'll fucking do it. And so I've been hustling, that's the grind. Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, so let's cut straight to the chasing then. How do you ask someone to be your Valentine?
I think, well, I think being bold is the first step. And that's part of being in yourself. You got to be in your own shoes to even make that first step. Uh, because I feel like I think you and I had talked about this, that there's the high school concept of we're dating and going out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you're going to ask somebody to be your Valentine, then, like, what the fuck does be your Valentine mean to you? Like, what does that entail? Is that a one-day thing, just the 14th, and call it quits, or is this, like,
Yeah.
so figuring out what that is for you before you approach anybody, to be honest, like, why waste anybody's time? And next, if you, here's two factors.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that step, but also taking that step consensual. If you know a person, you should have an idea if they are open to that at that moment, and that goes also with what is being a Valentine. Are we
Mm-hmm.
really close friends that are just going to kick it? Have we flirted, but let's just take it slow? There's a lot of different things. So, but I think I am so oblivious sometimes about who's attracted to me, and, like, when people are flirting with me, that if I do ask somebody, I'm pretty like, all right, this is it. This is. Then again, I haven't. I am being 100% honest. I haven't had a Valentine since. Well, let me rephrase this. I had not had a Valentine up until last year. Don't kill me if I'm getting this date wrong, but they're watching. My I had always dated people and been in polyamorous relationships with multiple people, but never had a primary partner, or never actually been with anybody in the span of Valentine's Day. So I've always kind of I'm a romantic. I mean, not obviously, but pretty much. You're a dick. Um, so for me, like, if I ever did, it was very, like, straightforward. But like I said, I've never. It wasn't until really the last year with my primary that I had a Valentine. Yeah, like I said, I'm very, very naive when it comes to people actually liking me. So there's definitely times people like me, and I'm just like, oh, we're buddies. Let's hang out. Let's.
That sounds like me as well. Okay.
Like 5, 10
So,
years later, I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
right? Same though, same. So psychologically, why does it feel good to feel sexy?
Ooh, I think because you're, we're not PC here, so, like, you're telling the world, fuck you, I'm the shit. You know, I think that there are times, and I admittedly did it yesterday, when I was editing my Study Thursday Flogger video, and
Mm-hmm.
I did multiple takes, and I finally found one, and I like flipped the. I totally forgot I did it, but like flipped the flogger, and it was like, you know, and I knew what music I was listening to, and I was like, God damn, that's fucking shit, you know, and like I'm literally like flipping out on myself, and I was like, it's a little vapid, and I was like, no, I look fucking good, son, like that's the shit right there, and even that just little bit carried me through the day, you know, like,
Yeah.
so I think when we internally look at ourselves and say, I look good, I feel, you know, like no matter the second thought, which is that pesky inside your head person that always wants to come at you and be like, no, you don't, you know,
Yeah.
I run with that first one, you know, I run with that first one. And you know, there's definitely chemicals in it involved with it, but I think because it's us, I think it's because it's us reclaiming our strength. You know, it's the world. I didn't start feeling in myself and feeling sexy or bold enough to present myself in such a way until like maybe like 7 years ago. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't believe that I was as attractive as people thought, and I still sometimes don't. And I think it's because I always want to keep myself in check, and I always, you know, I'm getting older. I'm like, oh shit. I finally found some gray hairs, and I was like, well, that's a bitch, ain't it? But there's so much that's telling us that there's something wrong with each of us that we sink into it, you know, and when you sink out of it and you find that you are great.
If I'm allowed, and I don't want to offend your friend when I say this, but I think that something I've noticed was something with men of color and in particular, the confidence in yourself, and not like the cocky confidence where it's like you take a picture of your abs, like it's obvious that you're seeking attention. It's the confidence in like your words, your articulation, like how you carry yourself, how you carry your body. I think that's so sexy.
And so I hate I I really have a hard time taking like gym photos, you know. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have some really good ones, but because I actually go to the gym to climb or to work out, you know, and train. So
Mm-hmm.
my thought isn't let me get some photos, but I also have to make money off of putting myself out there. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, you know, like I just worked out. This is prime time to get these photos, you know. uh,
Yeah.
so, you know, because as soon as I leave the gym, I'm like, I don't got the energy. I'm not, but,
Nah.
and it's like, not the gym photos themselves, you know, but taking selfies of yourself and not even sending them off or posting them, but looking back and just to make yourself feel good is fucking great. You know, there's so many like photos that I've done for photo shoots that some I don't post and some I do, and I'm like, yo, this makes me feel good. You know, this is why
Mm.
all the work I do, and yeah.
I'm gonna go to the gym after this now. But okay. Okay, so I'm a robot. Okay? Explain sex to me.
Mm. uh, Sex.
I'm an adult robot.
Well, yeah, be careful with that one, Ashley. They make those adult robot sex bots now, so
I see them. Jesus. Oh,
um, I think if I'm explaining sex to you, that sex is beyond intercourse. and sex is not binary in standards of insertion. So the history, the predominant history that you have downloaded on sex has been taught in a binary function of male, well, let me, before I say that, man and woman. Insertion into somewhere. You know, it's that's all we learn about sex beyond the non-ejaculation orgasms or
Mm-hmm.
the same room masturbation. You know, it's where you don't have to necessarily touch or interlock. You know, there's a lot to play around with when you get to learn and know someone else. Uh, so sex is beyond what we have defined and what we will know, because it is growing exponentially every day where we find new things out. Example, there was this new kink and it's on the kink list because it is what it is, and I don't shame anybody for doing what they do, but there have been a high number of folks who have gone to get COVID tests and they enjoy the sensation
Hmm.
and
Interesting.
hey, you know, in my head I'm like, oh, there's nerve endings up there, you know, like
Yeah, it
it's
makes sense.
and why I can't and won't judge it is because they are, and this goes to everyone being individuals and having their own sensations and understanding of what makes them happy. Everyone's nerve endings spark off differently. So one sensation to me is different to you, you know.
Yeah.
So that in itself, and they just essentially they just had sex for the first time. You know, it's a, oh wow, never felt this before. I,
Yeah.
you know,
But also picking your nose feels good. I mean, to me it does.
I mean, right. So, you know, and then that goes to there's things that are in our past that have an effect into why we do certain things and enjoy certain things. So, you know, it's sex is a wonderful art. It's a painting. It hasn't been finished yet. That shit's dope. That's fucking.
That's going in the clip. That's going in the
Let me write that
clip.
shit down. Can't intended. Oh, no.
So I'm gonna jump. I don't know if you have the questions in front of you. I am gonna jump because you said something that highlighted one of my questions. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
mind me jumping.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in that case, why do butt plugs feel so good then?
Mm. Um, that is a lot. And, well, it's not. It's really simple. I think, well, let's get over the stigma of uh, a butt plug is either for an AFAB, a person who's assigned female at birth, um, or for someone who is what everyone will, what people want to assume and just say is gay, which
Mhm.
is ignorant because it's, you know, it's not. Has nothing to do with liking another man, you know. The butt plug in men, and I'll start out with that because I think it's a, we can spin off into orgasms with this because men only conceive, and this goes back to the binary situation where we only see an orgasm as one thing, and that is ejaculating. You know,
Mhm.
that's finishing. And it's what we see on TV, that's what we read on, you know, even in school with science classes and, you know, health. the only thing that we use that for is procreation, so it's ejaculation, rather than there being actual other orgasms and stimulations that men can have, but we haven't been taught, exposed, or ourselves open to those types of stimulations. So, butt plugs is in certain cases, uh, it hits the male prostate gland.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of, it's like what I was just saying about this new kink with the nostrils. We don't, a lot of men aren't aware of it, except for a negative side about, prostate cancer, but we don't know the positive effects of stimulating the prostate gland, um, which gives you a different type of orgasm. And some men, assigned men at birth, uh, are able to ejaculate from that, and I think it's all in your mind. There's definitely a block that people can put up before and in the process. Uh, and for people who are assigned, female at birth, butt plugs, there's only so much room, right? So if a butt plug goes in, it's hitting the opposite of the vaginal area. So
Mm-hmm.
pressure on that side that's not, once again, usually stimulated, so it's, higher sensation. Yeah, I mean, and depending on how far you're going with it, and what I think communication, and if you're doing it with a partner, uh, I think doing it by yourself is also great, because it's your body, and you should be exploring yourself, and figuring out what you like and what you are comfortable with, and different toys and different sensations. I'm right now in the process of coming out with a line of dildos and butt plugs and packers, and so it's,
You said Packard?
yeah, it is for folks who are transitioning or want the feel of a penis. So it's not necessarily, it's
Oh.
not for intercourse.
Oh.
Um, and trying to figure out different unique shapes and what people want, and getting feedback on vibrations, no vibrations, small, and some people are anal fiends, and they want it all, and yeah, yeah.
So jumping around again. So why do some people orgasm and some people don't?
I think
During intercourse, obviously. That was obviously, I hope you know that one.
uh I think because, well, let me say, I know this is definitely a factor in it. Um, Different body types, and with the different body types, once again, we all feel different sensations differently, and process them. Uh, Mental capabilities and let's just stick to there, and self exploration, and your partners. I think all of those are factors into it. I think multiple orgasms are possible from both sides. Um, I will say, uh, healthy mind, healthy body. I had a buddy who used to bring like 3 gallons of water with him to work, and I'd be like, bro, it's fucking December. It's really not that hot. And he's like, yo, I got a party tonight. And I'm like, what are you? And I was like, oh, word, word, word. I get it. So like knowing yourself, and that self exploration of what does get me off, what makes me happy, what puts me into that place. Uh,
Yeah.
because I feel a lot of folks jump into sex and intercourse without knowing. I think, let me restate this. All of us jump into it before we really know who we are, who other people are, you know, um, and even that process can put in mental blocks of, I did that the first time, didn't like it, never going to do it
Yeah.
again. Rather
Yeah.
than approaching something, having a conversation, and then being like, that's it, And I think multiple orgasms, kind of hopping back for uh, AMABs, that goes back to us not knowing that there's more than ejaculation, uh, and the different parts to stimulate the assigned male body, um, which there's so much, and I feel like there's a lot of times where I enjoy more stimulation around my body than just intercourse, um, and, and and
Um,
and mentally, So if you can get that self exploration, that mentality down, communicate with your partners, those are usually great. And then, I always have to underline and state that everyone's bodies are different, you know. So communication is 100% key because you don't know someone until you ask, and I enjoy opening that conversation up, and I enjoy opening myself up and letting folks know this is what makes me get to where I want to be, you know. Uh, and also sometimes, and this is a big part of being confident about yourself and knowing yourself and all of those aspects, to come to your partner and be like, you know, don't take it offense if I don't have an orgasm to what you think is, or
yeah.
your expectation of an orgasm is. I think that having that conversation and coming towards it opens it up, because now I'm so aware, so much more aware of how I can please people in different ways than just intercourse.
Yeah. Word. Okay. Okay. Um, let's talk about music.
Ah, music. It's my favorite. One of my favorites.
So
One of my favorites.
what's a song that always gets you in the mood?
Anything. Mostly anything.
Really?
I music is another one of those passions I've had since I was a kid. I've played music since I was in second grade, you
Oh
know.
wow.
Uh, I listen to every Friday morning. I wake up, I have my spliff, I have a cup of coffee, and I listen to all the new albums, all the new tracks that came out. And I search who dropped new albums, and I re-listen to them and give my thoughts. Like I fucking love music. So I think it sometimes depends on who I'm with, uh,
Hmm.
but I'm also very fucking goofy. So there can be a song on and I'm like, yo, this is it right here. That's that. You gonna get that. That's it. Yeah. Uh, but if I have to default to anything, I will
Hmm.
I will say BB King, uh, or excuse me, it's not BB King. It is Luther Vandross' Mistletoe off of his Christmas album. And
Wow.
yeah, it's just a funny you know, obviously it's Black culture, but then there's just so much
Yeah.
into it, and that's a song that I'm just like, this is probably not the right song to be listening to right now. This is a holiday song, but yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
You already answered that question. Okay, what's your filthy fantasy?
Oh, Jesus. You know, I have a lot of kinks, and I think if I was to combine a majority of it, it would be a room full of folks with impact scenes going on and heavy lactation play and spit play and yeah, yeah. You know, here's why it's hard to say because like I don't think I necessarily like I want it all. You
Hmm.
know? I like if I'm playing with someone or multiple people, you know, we're creating it an experience, you know. So
Yeah.
when we're going, we're fucking going at it, you know, and we I shit you not, I sometimes bring a suitcase and a small tote bag full of this and more stuff because I'm like, we're going, we're who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? Who knows? And it could be great. So let's bring it all. I'm not stopping. You know. Yeah, that's a hard, yeah. I'm gonna go with the spit play, lactation, impact play, and a lot of voyeurs. Yeah, I like putting on a show. So
Obviously.
yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, where is it? Oh, there it is. Jeez. I just gotta type stuff out and print it. I can't read my handwriting sometimes. Does size matter?
Uh, no, no,
Okay. Well,
no,
every lady just disagreed with you.
no, no. No. Here,
Why not?
here's why. Because there's a couple good points, but let me key in real quick. All right, and this goes back to earlier what I was saying about being taught binary standards and understanding of what is right. And we are in movies and ads. It is larger is better. Larger is what you want. Larger is going to fill up the gap that needs to be filled. Where going back to what I said a second ago, if you don't talk about it, then you don't really know. First of all, if you don't explore yourself, you're not going to know what you can take or want. Um, B, having a conversation about this is what I have, this is, you know, are you comfortable with it, rather than surprising somebody and having a huge fucking, I don't know, eggplant. Uh, you know, IG's new standards. I don't know. I don't want to get you canceled. Or, or, uh, or you know, a micro eggplant. So it's like there's that. You know, second, there's a lot of work that goes into having a penis, and I think like it's taken advantage of. Where like example, people think that's like, oh, well, you can just use the bathroom anytime you want. I can, but I can't just whip it out and go. Like there's pressure behind it. I have to aim it. I can't just let it be because it's like a water hose loose. You know, there's so that's just pee. You know, like let alone sex where you wonder why people break sweats because you're working out. We're burning calories, you know. Those let me tell you something. And everybody else out there who watches this later, they'll know. the glutes, when you're going at it, that fucking hurts. Yo,
Really?
I, 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 in my ass cheeks, I'm telling you, there's a lot. So it's not just,
I feel
it's not,
bad.
it's not feel bad, but just a little, like, so there's some times where like people are like, well, why do they just want to lay down? Let me tell you something. That back and forth motion, standing up, like imagine being on a treadmill and just, that's it, like, and then concentrating on your partner and your body and not sweating too much. And so let's respect the work back there. But uh, I think, and also with that, sometimes a big eggplant is too much. Sometimes you want a small eggplant, so they can be vigorous, but I think my major overall issue, and this is something that I have a hard stance on, I don't promote myself as, is BBC. Big,
Yeah.
I hate that term. I understand
Really?
why other black content creators use it, and it's unfortunate. It's known that if you are a black content creator and you use that, you are going to get more views, follows, clicks, and purchases of content that says BBC compared to not using that tag.
Mm-hmm.
So ingrained that African American, or excuse me, black males have a BBC that when you come across someone who doesn't, then it's like, what the fuck? You're not, and then that's when that racist shit comes out. Well, you're not black, or comparing someone else to someone who is black, and then creating tension for no reason. So yeah, I think it should also be thought about if I'm speaking out to uh, you know uh, AFABs and folks that like the penaling, that think about it as you wouldn't want me saying that your breasts are too small,
Yeah.
you know? So it's kind of like, mm, or your ass is too small, like those are
You know, you have a black girl's body.
you don't. What's the difference with the penis? There's
Yeah.
so no. I mean, now I will say, if you got it, you got it, and it's great. I'm not, I am happy, but I'm not. Yeah, yeah. I think that we should, and stop concentrating once again on the insertion of it, and concentrating on who's using what they have in that opportunity.
If you don't mind me, I'm talking about this, and feel free to be like, I don't want to talk about it because I didn't submit this as a question. But I have noticed that in your stories, you have a lot of engagement. But something that you never change, you never falter with is you don't do race play.
No, no,
Why don't you do race play?
no, because people are still fucking ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
It's something, and this is my, like, once again, my hard stance. This is my opinion. I know other folks out there who do race play. I know other uh, black identifying folks who do race play, and I understand where they're coming from, the negotiations. But for me, I don't believe in it. A, because I am someone who is out there. My image, I don't hold anything back. Uh, I do have a good amount of non-black followers. And as we know, non-black communities like to look at what black folks do and run with that, or hold that, make assumptions, and then pull that card out when they want to. So
Yeah.
there's that, and let alone the fact that people still haven't, they still haven't learned why we hurt from those actions. you know. So when it comes to race play, it's like you don't understand what's going on now back then, so why would I do that? Like I'm not,
Hmm.
same thing with like master and slave. That term is definitely used in the kink world, and I respect folks who do it, but I'll say it again, and hopefully to educate people and make people understand that when you're in a public dungeon with folks, and there are people doing their own scenes and concentrating on their own partners, and someone screams out master after being whipped or something, that sound for me is
Strange.
that fucks me up. So now I can't
Hmm.
concentrate on my partner. You have taken your relationship and selfishly put it into me and created something that now affects me. So,
Yeah.
I once again I understand, but then again I'm like I don't understand. Be fucking creative. Master slave is some lazy ass I don't hold back. You know me.
Honestly.
So let me just say this, and when people watch this, they can suck my dick from the back. I don't care. If you use the term master and slave, don't fuck with me. Real shit. Like, I just don't I don't get it. You can have a conversation with me, but I believe in being creative, you know. Um, and let me step back. If you are white, if you are if you are a non-black person, that is who I'm referencing, you know. Then don't fuck with me, Be
Yeah.
creative. Do something else, but don't have the fucking gall to come into an open space and create a scene where that is going to possibly affect someone else and their partners in that scene, let alone
Yeah.
not just there, but the rest of the evening and or possibly week. So yeah, I'm always going to be against it. I'm always open for conversation about it, but I I think that I think people have not learned enough about the past to go forward into a situation like that. Um,
Hmm.
and it's the same reason like I stopped saying I do shibari. I don't. I do rope bondage. Shibari is Japanese art. I respect it.
Mhm.
I I see the influences behind it, but I will not say that I'm a shibari artist because that is really not my space. I want to craft something of my own. Uh, and let me just say it's starting to get to a point of appropriation, where I see a lot of shibari artists out there dressing in Japanese garb, um and I'm like, yo, don't you see how that's that's not
There's always a line.
there's yeah, so if I don't, yeah, I try to stay far away from that line.
I used your line, by the way. The hey.
Oh.
I used it the other day. I was like, "Ooh, this feels so nice."
Yeah.
But okay. So where can we like you, stalk you, follow you, all that fun stuff?
Oh, like, stalk, follow. Okay, so uh, Instagram, Knotty Rell Key. I'm always photos, stories, pretty live, pretty active on there. Twitter is a better place to hear my voice and see more explicit content. I I'm trying to get better at Twitter. But Twitter, uh, knottykey.com right now is the website. All until February 28th, I'm running a sale for all Black identifying folks with a 45% discount for all items. Go to my page or to my Instagram, DM me, and or like the post that says it. Um, Also, knottykey.com is going to start a blog weekly of kinky
Ooh.
stories, fantasies, confessions from random folks. Um, so yeah,
Can people submit stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Random
Oh,
people.
I want to submit something.
Yeah, anything, all submissions. So People can look at that. I have my podcast coming out at the end of this month. I have that's going to be on my YouTube channel, Knotty Rell Key. I'm uploading some content for Knotty Rell Key right now for YouTube, some vlogger stuff. They can check out my Only If I Was a Fan account. That's the O, the F, and backslash Knotty Rell Key. That is all my solo content, couple content, Kink cosplay, impact. Trying to think what else I'm doing.
A lot.
A lot, but not enough. I do have a series that I'm planning coming out, Bratty Baking. So it'll be nude baking, and I get to be in the kitchen, and I get to be naked, and possibly hook up with people. So who knows? Or please people. I don't know. I'll make somebody eat, and they'll have an orgasm, or well, orgasm. So
Don't make fried chicken though.
oh no, I thought about it. I was like, oh, somebody was like, oh, you should cook, Nick, and I was like, no, that would hurt. No.
Yeah.
No.
And then final question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Valentine's Day, what can a couple do to make their night exciting?
Well, let's see. Today is Friday, so if you're a new couple, you fucked up. Because if you're an old couple, you're kosher because you motherfuckers know each other well enough, so it doesn't matter. But I honestly think talking before about what needs you want for Valentine's Day. That goes back to that earlier question: what does Valentine's Day mean to you, or someone specifically? Some people don't want a lot of attention. Some people just give me a card. That's cool. Some people don't even like cards. That's and so figuring that out. I also think being vulnerable and opening yourself, doing something new on Valentine's Day, and opening yourself up, and show you're still willing to explore and grow. And going into that, if I fuck up, that's going to be a great Valentine's Day story.
Yeah.
If I hit this, I'm getting some tonight. That's it. You're probably not. Just a note out there, I do want to set this parameter and let folks know, let male assuming folks know, because this is something I've learned over time. Let me just say it, women, and most folks who are assigned female, they don't want to fuck after a big dinner. I'm just telling you right now. It ain't happening. You can want it, but it's not gonna happen. You should probably try before, but that's a whole conversation. So yeah, let's just say you're not after a full dinner. And on that, no pressure for intercourse. I think Valentine's Day is pinpointed to, we are going to hook up at the end of the night. And
Yes.
that shouldn't be the end goal of getting a box of chocolate or flowers. And once again, hope people watch this in the future. And before Valentine's Day, if you went and got a cheap box of fucking chocolates and some little teddy bear, it was cute when you were like, I think 18 was the cutoff as a freshman. After that, you need to step up, get a plant, get something creative. Don't, unless they're into plushies. Let me say that. If they're little, that's a kink, and they like plushies, then fucking get all the plushies. But be creative.
You're very respectful.
I mean,
Did you have both parents when you were growing up?
Periodically, yeah. They were both very, I've actually heard this my whole life, where I'm like, you are very respectful, very mindful. I think
You're
because
very respectful.
my mom put me around a lot of different folks, exposed me to a lot of different folks, spoke openly, and was quick to make sure I didn't judge harshly. There's always cultural judgments, but I've never had a solid, like, group of one type of friends. They've always been unique. They've always been multicultural. And at the end of the day, yo, I'm black. Like, I have such a hard time in my own fucking skin that how am I going to treat someone else like shit or not be considerate of someone else when I know what that feels like?
Wow.
You know, I can't, even though I might hold contempt for some people, I get it. I understand it, you know, so I always want to be mindful of this life that we're growing, you know. Quick example, I was watching the Wayans brothers. I binge watched it the other day on HBO. I loved that show as a kid. I still love
Yeah.
it now. I'm gonna binge watch it again, but it was cringy to fucking watch.
Why
There,
do you say that?
go back and watch it. There are some jokes on there that hit some stuff that we have grown out of since the early 90s as a black community. You know, there were
Huh.
homosexual jokes, there was a lot of racial jokes, there was a lot of stuff where I was like, ooh, it's funny because it's from when and it's the Wayans, like it's funny, but those wouldn't hit today, you know.
Yeah. They've been canceled today.
Right,
Yeah.
big time, big time, you know. So I always, you know, we learn every day, and I think that we can be great, we can be good if we are open, considerate, communicate, and yeah.
I appreciate you, Knotty.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too, actually. Thank you so much for this. I always enjoy this.
Me too. I'm thinking like, what's another holiday where we could do this? You
Right?
know. But of course, I appreciate you. Make sure you check out his merch. I have something special in the comments. No, not comments. Caption. You'll see it. You'll see it. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Valentine's Day weekend.
Happy Valentine's. Thank you again, Ashley. You have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.